Hey yo everyone! Hades 2 has just come out and has been met with incredible reception. In fact, at the time of me writing this, it has surpassed Clair Obscur's Expedition 33 to become Metacritic's top rated game of 2025. That's crazy! Reading that headline made me pause and think, damn, who the heck is gonna win the 2025 Game of the Year award? Since this spring, it seemed as if Expedition 33 had that award on lock, but with some highly rated releases these past few months, I think its win is anything but guaranteed anymore. So, today, let's take a look at what I believe to be the 2025 Game of the Year frontrunners and why or why not I think they could take home the trophy. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, so let's do some housekeeping first. I'm only going to talk about games that I think have a legitimate shot at winning the Game of the Year award. So while there have been a ton of great games this year, I'm only going to focus on about 6 of them since that's normally how many that are nominated. I'm also not including games that haven't been released yet. I know that's kind of lame to not include games like Ghost of Yotei or Metroid Prime 4 since they both have very decent chances of being awesome games, but with how variable the industry is in 2025, there's no guarantee that either of those games will be great, regardless of the franchise or studio's previous track record. So with that out of the way, here are the 6 games that I think are definite Game of the Year contenders. Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Split Fiction, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, and of course, Expedition 33. Again, not including upcoming games like Ghost of Yotei or Metroid Prime 4 here. So let's start with Hades 2. Immediately after its release, it was clear that Hades 2 was going to be a Game of the Year contender. It's Supergiant's first ever sequel, and their original Hades was also nominated for Game of the Year back in 2020. I'm currently playing through the game right now, and I can tell you for certain that Hades 2 is just as good, if not better, than the original. Addicting gameplay, a variety of weapons to choose from, outstanding music and voice acting, a plethora of content that fuels seamlessly endless possibilities with each new run. Hades 2 is a masterclass in the roguelike genre. But it's not perfect, it has some nitpicks. I've seen some people complain that there might be a few too many new systems, which can slow down the action-packed pacing of a run. Or that some of the combat isn't quite as satisfying as the original game, but that seems to be just a matter of opinion. Regardless, with the high praise that the original Hades garnered, it's no wonder that Supergiant has turned heads with their latest entry. Maybe Hades 2 can finish what the first one started and bring home that Game of the Year award in 2025. Next up, let's take a look at Hollow Knight Silksong. Besides GTA 6, Silksong might have been the most anticipated game out there. If you watch any Nintendo Directs, then you certainly understand where I'm coming from here. But finally, 6 grueling years after its first official reveal, Hollow Knight Silksong has arrived, and it is glorious. Or so I've heard. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I downloaded Silksong on Game Pass, but haven't even started it yet because I'm currently playing through some other games, and truthfully, I'm not very good at playing video games, and Hollow Knight took me an embarrassingly long time to beat. But I have been keeping up to date with what my fellow gamers have been saying, and for the most part, people seem to be very pleased with Silksong. Incredible artwork, well-polished gameplay, a ravenous fan base. I mean, Silksong feels like the most grassroots game launch we've had in a hot minute. All of these things combine for what would normally be an instant Game of the Year winner. But of course, this isn't just any normal year. And it all started back in early March with my next nominee, Split Fiction. Back in 2021, Hazelight's previous game, It Takes Two, dominated the Game Awards and eventually ended up winning the Game of the Year. Just like Hades 2, Split Fiction gets a bit of a boost from the developer's previous nominations, but honestly, I don't think Split Fiction needs the legacy points. As much as I enjoyed It Takes Two, Split Fiction feels like Hazelight's magnum opus. Look, the story might not be as strong as It Takes Two, but the gameplay is incredibly refined, taking advantage of masterfully crafted levels with beautiful and truly innovative design. God, I love that Joseph Fares requires people to make friends in order to play their games. It's good to work together every once in a while, right? Instead of constantly teabagging other people or punching your computer monitor. I love the premise the studio went with, and I think they absolutely nailed the execution. My only concern is that the story didn't feel quite as impactful as some of Hazelight's previous work. It's still a very good story that is highlighted by exceptional gameplay design, but it doesn't feel as bold or I guess as emotionally personal as It Takes Two, without getting into spoilers. Still a very deserving Game of the Year contender, but I do wonder if there might be Hazelight fatigue within the voting community. Next, we have Nintendo's big killer app for the Switch 2 launch, Mario Kart World. Just kidding. Mario Kart World is okay and has a lot of potential, but it is nowhere near the value of that $80 price tag. No. I am, of course, talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Nintendo games are generally received favorably by both critics and fans alike, but Bonanza feels a bit different. Not only is it the first real showcase of what first-party developers will be able to do with the Switch 2 tech, it also completely revitalized the Donkey Kong name. It's been years since DK was this relevant. The team behind 2017's Super Mario Odyssey has been working on Bonanza for a while, and their fingerprints are all over this, whether it's the music, the level design, the humor, or the tucked away Easter eggs. Donkey Kong Bonanza is the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey that we never got. This time though, instead of Donkey Kong tossing around a mind-controlling hat, he has the ability to break virtually everything on a given level. The amount of sheer destructibility in here is a nightmare. It would be different if this was just an open world sandbox type of game, but it's not. It's a Donkey Kong platformer. And the fact that Nintendo was able to balance these two intrinsically opposite gameplay formulas into one coherent experience is just incredible. I mean, to me, Bonanza shouldn't work, but it does, and I think it marks the official beginning of the Nintendo Switch 2 era. Also just a few months ago, we got the release of Hideo Kojima's new game, Death Stranding 2, on the beach. Now, I haven't played this game and never finished the first one, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this series, okay? From what I can find online though, Death Stranding 2 took the original, divisive formula and turned it into a bigger, better, more accessible version of the game. It's visually impressive, technically ambitious, and most of all, full of that weird Hideo Kojima goodness. Iconic moments and characters, interesting storytelling, and gameplay that is new and innovative and unique, although maybe not for everyone. Look, at the end of the day, Death Stranding 2 has a decent shot at winning Game of the Year for three main reasons. One, it's just a good game, man. I mean, even without the following 2 points, Death Stranding 2 is a work of art. Two, it's a Hideo Kojima game. Unlike other industries that have been established for way longer, such as TV or film, video games are still a relatively new field. So I don't think we as a collective community have really grasped the impact that some of these developers, such as Kojima, have in pioneering the future of video games. Think about it like Quentin Tarantino and Hollywood, a legendary artist who has helped shape the future of his field for generations to come. And my third reason, it's a Jeff Keighley show. Whether or not there's any weight to this, I don't know, but Kojima and Keighley have a very public bromance. I mean, Jeff was even in the first Death Stranding. Hopefully this doesn't sway the voting jury in one way or the other, because as good as Death Stranding 2 is, it's not the definitive best game of the year. Which brings me to my final legit Game of the Year contender, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I mean, at this point, I'm sure you've heard the details. A group of around 30 or so ex-Ubisoft employees got together and formed their own studio, Sandfall Interactive, and released their original hit, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Man, what a debut, huh? From the insane visual fidelity to the eccentric world building to the excellent story and voice performances by a star-studded cast, I might add, Clair Obscur has got it all. And I think the fact that it's very much a AA game makes it that much more appealing to voters. A real masterpiece done with a fraction of the budget, almost as if it's in defiance to the studio's former employer, Ubisoft. Plus, it's launched on Game Pass, which I think really helped boost its numbers by people who are on the fence about it. It really is an incredible experience, and for the better part of the year, it was pretty much agreed upon that it had Game of the Year locked up, but it's been a few months now, and I think the hype train has slowed down a bit. It's still great and receiving its well-deserved praise, but the competition for Game of the Year might be a bit more fierce than we originally anticipated. On top of that, Expedition 33 was developed by a brand new studio, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but a rookie studio has never brought home the big trophy. It seems as if the voting jury likes to lean towards established developers who have had a presence in the industry or at the awards show in previous years. Like I said, Expedition 33 could very well be the first game by a new studio to win the award, but history says the odds are kind of stacked against them. Okay, so now that we've gone over our main contenders, I got a few dark horses to rattle off real quick. Blueprints, a breakout indie hit that has been sending shockwaves among the roguelike community. It's a great puzzle game with seemingly endless surprises, but it might be a bit too niche to make any noise at the awards show. I mean, I'm sure we'll end up taking some trophies home, but I don't think the big one. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. I haven't played this game, but admittedly, it does look pretty freaking awesome. A grounded, realistic, medieval RPG full of deep storytelling and mechanics. A solid game, but it's really long and time consuming, and I'm not sure that it has the mainstream success to garner enough votes. Oblivion Remastered. Normally I wouldn't include a remaster in here, but Oblivion Remastered did such an excellent job in blurring the line between a remaster and a full-on remake that I think it deserves a mention. Plus, it's a great game from a legacy studio, so that probably counts for something among the voters. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you didn't know, the voting for the Game Awards ends in like mid-November, and since Indy didn't come out until December of last year, it didn't qualify for the 2024 awards. So, don't be surprised if Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has some buzz this year. After all, that recent DLC release might have been a subtle reminder that Indy is eligible for awards this fall. All of the games that aren't out yet, but I think have a decent shot at being nominated. Specifically, Ghost of Yotei, Outer Worlds 2, and Silent Hill F. I would mention Metroid Prime 4, but like we just talked about, it won't qualify for this year's awards. Man, what a stacked year for gaming. I honestly think that we're living in a golden age of video games. It's awesome, man. I'm excited. I genuinely have no idea who's gonna win the Game of the Year award, and I can't wait to see who ends up taking it. One thing's for sure though, no matter who wins this year's award, people are going to be pissed. With so many deserving titles, some of them are just going to be left out, and it sucks, dude, it really does. However, if I had to pick who I think will win the Game of the Year, based on all of my research and knowledge of how the voting jury operates, I would honestly pick as my 2025 Game of the Year winner, none other than... But that's enough of my rambling. The Game Awards are only a few months away anyway, so we'll have all of our questions answered soon enough. Until then, I want to hear from you guys. What are your 6 Game of the Year nominees? Who do you think will win? Who do you think should win? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.